Hi everyone, welcome. We will get started in just a minute. I'm going to give everyone who has registered a chance to join our webinar room. So if you could just hang on. Okay, let's get started. Hi, everyone who's here, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join our webinar. If you've been here before, you know me. I'm Tina, and I'm the marketing manager for 79 Consulting. I handle the core marketing activities for our company, such as increasing brand awareness, promotional campaigns, developing collateral, and lead gen. Today's webinar is going to be covering migrating data to NetSuite, why it's important, the migration process, and the challenges involved. We'll be doing a demo, and since this is going to be conducted in a test account, I apologize in advance for any slow loading times. Also, a quick note to our audience, please use the handy chat feature in this window and let us know if you have any questions. We will answer them as we go. We have a member of our data migration team who's on standby to answer your questions. All right, now on to introductions. Let me show you our webinars archive page. Now, if you didn't already know, we do these webinars on a monthly basis, and we have a webinars archive page on our website. So if you want to catch up with any of our past sessions, you can find everything listed here. There's a ton of good stuff around NetSuite. So please do go head over to this website, to our website and this page. Okay, a little bit about our company. We started out in 2007 consulting in NetSuite and Salesforce, and has since evolved to provide support, managed services, and integration services for NetSuite clients worldwide. And we've also designed and built solutions for the NetSuite platform with the intent of extending its functionalities. Our suite apps cover a wide range of industries and address every business need. And if you want to look them up, you can find them on suiteapp.com under the search term Tvarna. Our panel, we have Navina Bopanna, who's our project manager. She manages the functional team and the data migration team in Tvarna. She works with clients and partners directly and provides support on NetSuite. Hey, Navina.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Without any further ado, I'm going to post a poll question to our audience members. Just an FYI, there are going to be a total of 2 polls during our webinar, and these are just designed to help us fine tune our sessions to serve you better. And you should see that popping up on your screen right now. Please do let me know if you don't see it. And this should take no more than a couple of seconds to answer. Okay, thanks everyone. Now let's jump into our content, Navina. Can you tell us what data migration is and why it's important?
Sure. Data migration basically is the process of transferring data from one system, storage, or format to another. It involves moving data from legacy systems or any older technology platforms to the newer ones or the consolidating data from multiple sources into a single system. Data migration can occur for various reasons, like including upgrading systems, adopting new software or hardware, merging companies, or transitioning to a cloud based infrastructure. Data migration is vital for any organization to ensure the preservation, continuity, and accuracy of data during these transitions. It facilitates the transfer of historical data and supports financial reporting, enhances the data quality, and facilitates comprehensive reporting and analytics, which are very important. Careful planning and execution of detailed data migration processes are essential to minimize the risks and ensure the successful transitions. By successfully migrating data, organizations can effectively manage and leverage their valuable information, leading to improved efficiency, decision making, and competitive advantages.
Thanks, Navina. Good to know that. Now let's talk about the different types of migration.
Sure. Data migration process remains consistent, although the sources and causes may vary. The following sentence, presents some factors that contribute to various type of migration. So let's talk about some database migration. So it involves moving data from one database system to another, often with different schemas or structures. It can include migrating from one database to another or upgrading to a newer version of the same database. And we might have some system upgrades or replacement migrations, right? So this type of migration occurs when upgrading or replacing an entire system, such as your ERP system or the customer relationship management, that is your CRM system. So it involves transferring data from old system to the new one while ensuring data integrity and compatibility. And we might have these cross platforms integrations migrations as well. A cross platform migration involves moving data and applications between different platforms or architectures. This can include transferring data from one hardware platform to another or migrating from one operating system to another. Our company excels in fulfilling diverse business requirements for data migration, as we have a team of skilled professionals specializing in different types of migration. So either it is a cross platform or a system upgrade or database, whether any database migration, our experts possess extensive experience in successful transferring and importing your data into NetSuite ERP. So with their expertise, you can rely on us to seamlessly migrate your data into NetSuite, ensuring data integrity and compatibility throughout the process.
Okay. Now, under what conditions would a business need to undergo data migration?
So, in an organization, data migration typically comes into the picture in 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 this in any of these scenarios. So, first is system upgrade. When an organization decides to upgrade its existing software or hardware systems, data migration becomes necessary. The data from the old system needs to be transferred to the new system while ensuring its integrity and compatibility with the upgraded platform. And if any application or vendor changes, so if an organization switches to a different software application or changes its technology vendors, data migration is required to move the relevant data from the previous system to the new one. This could involve transferring customer records, financial data, inventory information, or any other pertinent data. Or when any organization has mergers or acquisitions. So, like when two companies merge or one company acquires another, they often need to integrate their data systems. Data migration is essential in these situations to consolidate and harmonize data from both entities into a unified system. This ensures smooth operations, streamlined processes, and a comprehensive view of the combined organization's data. So during data migration, organizations needs to consider factors such as data quality, security, validation, and testing. It is essential to ensure that the migrated data is accurate, complete, and accessible to the intended users in this new system or in the required format.
Navina, what are the steps involved in the migration process?
There are four steps in the migration process: extract, transform, load, and reconciliation and scorecards. And let's start with the extraction process. So this is basically a first phase of the migration process that involves extracting customer data files from the legacy system. It could be a hardware, software, a database, whatever, right? And customers can extract the data if they have an expertise from their legacy or source systems, or Twarana or 79 Consultings can take the responsibility of extraction in a few cases. And next step is transform. Data that has been extracted from the legacy system needs to be cleaned and then transformed into a format compatible with the target system, which is NetSuite. This is a very important step because also it has to be done carefully because transformation takes some time, and if anybody transforms the data in a wrong way, it leads to it leads to a wrong reconciliation. This is very important step, and we have built a tool internally to perform data cleansing faster and also in an efficient way. And the next step in the data migration process is loading the data into NetSuite. So, and in this step, data that has been extracted, cleaned, and transformed is finally loaded into the target system. And next is reconciliation and scorecards. Swarna will make sure to reconcile the data before delivering it to the client and provide scorecards as well for easy verifications and comparisons of this data from the source system and then in the NetSuite. Now, let's jump into NetSuite to show you a quick demo of how to import the data into NetSuite by just taking an example of importing any entity or a transaction. And also we'll have a look on the sample scorecard. Let me share my screen now. Tina, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Thank you. So now I have logged in as an administrator to one of our demo accounts, and let me just show you quickly how to import a supplier or a vendor record into a NetSuite. So we are not showing you the extraction process from any other source system or the cleanup process. I'm going to show you how we can have the file, and then how to import the vendor record into NetSuite. So now let me just show you how this CSV file looks like. By the way, NetSuite only supports the CSV file format to load into NetSuite. So if you have your data in any Excel format, you just have to save as your file into a CSV format, and then you have to upload that file into NetSuite. Okay, so now let me just open my CSV file to upload a vendor into NetSuite. So if you see here, I have taken the required fields, few important fields from the NetSuite vendor record, like is vendor is an individual or a company, vendor name, email, phone number, currency of the vendor, the categories, and few other required fields. And now let me just show you how we can import this CSV file into NetSuite. Let me just switch back to my NetSuite screen. And if you'd like to import any data into NetSuite, you have to navigate to Setup, Import or Export, and you can see the Import CSV Records page. the navigations might be different if you are using any other custom role. And in this page, we have to select what is the transaction type or the record type that we are going to import into NetSuite. So as I've decided to import a supplier record into NetSuite, I'll choose my import type as relationships and record type as vendors. And by the way, this is the same page that, if we have to import anything to NetSuite, this is the same page, but we have to opt what is the transaction or entity that we are going to import into NetSuite. And if you can see on the screen, you can see one file to upload or multiple files to upload. For example, I'm trying to import a vendor with 10 or 5 addresses. Any vendor can have multiple addresses. If I'm uploading a thousand vendors, and every vendor has its own addresses, one vendor might have only one address, and then another vendor can have more than one address. So it will be difficult for us if we have all the information in the single file. So in that situation, NetSuite is actually flexible, and we can have multiple files, and we can upload into NetSuite. So let me just click on this multiple files to upload. And whenever I choose this option, so NetSuite asks me to upload the files separately. So now let me upload the file for the vendor data. So I'm uploading the vendor main file, and I'm also uploading the vendor address file separately. And once the files are uploaded into NetSuite, we have to click on next. And if we upload any other file format, NetSuite does not accept that. And the next step in the data migration is we have to select add, update, or add or update. So basically, if I'm trying to create a new vendor in NetSuite, I'll select add. But if I'm trying to upload modify any data on the existing vendor records in NetSuite, I choose update. But I'm just go with the add option now. Let me just show you these advanced options as well. By the way, I'm just scrolling down. So here, if you would like to switch a form, so for example, we might have different forms in the vendor record, right? So this custom form indicates to which form this vendor has to be uploaded. So let me just select the standard vendor form, and then let me just click on this next button. So this page appears only if we are going with multiple file upload option, because we have to tell NetSuite that what is the primary key or unique key among the files that we have uploaded. Otherwise, NetSuite will be confused, which vendor address has to be mapped to a specific vendor, right? So we have to select that. But if we are actually importing any data using a single file, we won't be able to see this page. Now let me select the external ID, which is the unique column I have taken in my files. And once this is done, we have to click on next. So this is the important step that we should perform while migrating anything to NetSuite. So on the left-hand side, we will be able to see all the fields that we have taken in our CSV files. And on the right-hand side, all the fields that are enabled on the custom form or standard form we have selected, we'll be able to see all these fields. And in the middle, we have to do a field mapping, right? So for example, if you have seen this, currency from our CSV file has been mapped to vendor currency field. So if the field name is same between this NetSuite and then our CSV files, NetSuite automatically maps these fields. But if they are different, we have to map it manually. Okay, and I'm just double checking my field mapping. I'm verifying to make sure if everything is mapped correctly or not. And if you see here, I'm actually mapping expense account ID here because I don't want NetSuite to be confused with the naming conventions, because these are case sensitive. So if NetSuite expects a expense account in a specific format, and my CSV have different naming conventions, right? So I just make sure that we are importing a correct information using their chart of accounts or any list by drop down values internal IDs, which are unique, by the way. So let me just click on this pencil icon, and then I'll just switch to internal ID and then click on OK. Let me map the same thing to the terms as well. And let me just verify if all the other fields has been mapped properly or not. So I can see that a green check mark has been done on the CSV field side, and all the fields has been mapped correctly. And now let me click on the next button. So once the field mapping is done, so this is the last step. We have to enter a name called supplier import or a vendor import. Then now let me click on save and run. So once we click on the save and run button, the field mapping that we have done will be saved, and which can be reused if we are going to import the same suppliers from next time. Now to see if the vendor has been uploaded to NetSuite successfully or not, I can just click on this import job status navigation. Right? Or if I click on that, it's still showing pending. So let me click on the refresh button. So now we can see that one of one records imported successfully. And if we click on the CSV response here, NetSuite gives us a results file which will be downloaded into our local systems. And if we click on that, we'll be able to see that all files are imported successfully into NetSuite. But if there are any errors, for example, if I am trying to upload 1,000 suppliers and sometimes only 500 records will be imported, and if you want to see what is the error that is been coming from NetSuite, you just have to click on that CSV response, and we can see why this vendor has not been imported into NetSuite. We can see the reasons of all the errors and clean up the files again, and then we have to load that data into NetSuite one more time. And finally, everything will be loaded into NetSuite. Okay, and so this is a sample process of uploading a vendor into NetSuite. If you want to import anything, the process is same. But before we import the data into NetSuite, as I just told you, there is extraction of the data and then transforming the data. There are different steps has to be performed. But we just wanted to quickly show you how to import the data into NetSuite. And now let me just show you how the scorecard looks like. So, Swarna 79 Consulting maintains its data scorecards, and we ensure that all the records or transactions that has been exported from the legacy systems to be imported into NetSuite. So we maintain that the count of transactions or records that has been exported or from the system or provided by clients, and we make sure that how much amount the total amounts and total number of records imported, and if there are any errors, the count of errors, and once we resolve these errors, how many records has been imported finally, and if any there are duplicates, we also update the scorecard, the duplicates found, something like that you can see on the H column. If the reconciliations are done, we'll update that this this G column, the reconciliations are completed or not. Basically, this helps us, this outlines the overall view of the migration process. So it specifies the type of transactions being imported and indicates overall count of records in the import file. It represents the total amount. It represents the total monetary value associated with the transactions, everything, right? And before reconciling any transactions, we actually create a saved search in the target system NetSuite to retrieve the imported data. And this search includes the total count of imported transactions and their total amount. To reconcile the data, the scorecard is examined. If the total number of records and the total amount in the scorecard match the values from the saved search we have exported from NetSuite, the transactions are considered reconciled and the corresponding column is updated accordingly, this G column. Another process for reconciling the imported data values, comparing it with the chart of accounts to which the transactions are posted. So to do this, we create a saved search for a specific account in both systems, retrieve the necessary data from the search results such as document number, name, amount, and then we check the totals. And finally, if the total of the systems in both systems are equal, we consider that they are reconciled. So that is how we make sure that the quality of the data and the counts are not missing at all by maintaining the scorecard, and we keep on updating the scorecard in all the cases. And I would also like to show you the bank imports in NetSuite. So now let me just switch back to my NetSuite, because apart from these data migrations, a lot of companies require, most of the companies require their bank data to be imported into NetSuite for your month-end closures or year-end closures for your bank reconciliations. So we also have an expertise, to guide any company or any organization on how you can import your bank statement into NetSuite and how we can perform the reconciliations. So let me just show you the navigations of how we can upload this data. So let me just navigate to transactions, bank, and banking import history, and let's click on upload file. So yeah, if you are using any custom roles and if you have the permissions to do this, by using this navigation, you can export your bank statement in any CSV, OFX, or BI to formats from your bank, and then you can upload that into NetSuite. So this page helps you to do that. And once the file is been uploaded into NetSuite, then we can perform the reconciliations by just navigating to transactions, bank, and match bank data page. So this is a native functionality of NetSuite. But if you want any inputs or if you want any suggestions to do this process, we can help you out with this process. So once we have the files loaded, we'll be able to see the transactions that has been loaded on the left hand side, basically the statement, and on the right hand side we can see all the transactions that users are creating in NetSuite, and we can compare them, and then check the boxes. Finally, we can do these reconciliations and close out the and complete our closure process. So that's how we can do these bank integrations as well. And now let me stop sharing my screen, and we can continue discussing other topics as well.
Hey, thanks, Navina. All right, but before we move on, one final poll for our audience, which you should see up on your screen right now. Please do take a couple of seconds to answer. All right, back to you, Navina.
All right, thanks, Tina. And now let's delve into a comprehensive exploration of the process of migrating data from NetSuite to NetSuite specifically, as well as other technology platforms to NetSuite as well. So if the source system is NetSuite, we follow some best practices for smooth data migration, such as the extraction from NetSuite is performed through saved searches and the data is downloaded in Excel files. So to ensure accurate extraction, an entity or transaction saved searches is created with specific filters based on the client's requirement. We make sure that all the mandatory and the required fields are selected, and we export everything from the source NetSuite system. And if the client wants transaction data for a specific period, so we also have the specific periods in the searches criteria. And I would like to mention that we have experience with handling invoices with arm, revenue recognition schedules, or vendor bills with amortization schedules, fixed assets data migration, and importing midlife assets, or importing customer payments with unapplied amounts, etc. So if you want any expertise required, please feel free to reach out to us. And now let's talk about QuickBooks to NetSuite data migration. Migrating data from QuickBooks to NetSuite is a common requirement for companies looking to transition to a more robust and comprehensive ERP system. The process involves transferring various types of financial and operational data from QuickBooks to NetSuite. While the specific steps may vary depending on the complexity of your data and the version of QuickBooks you're using, I can provide you with a general overview of the migration process here. The first step here is evaluation of data mapping. Let's begin by understanding the structure and organization of your data in your QuickBooks account, and we determine how it should be mapped to NetSuite. And we identify the corresponding data fields, formats, and relationship between entities in both the systems. And the next step we should perform is extraction of data from the QuickBooks. And we have to extract the necessary information from QuickBooks according to the company's specifications, whether they require a breakdown of individual transactions or summarized account balances. And if any organization only wants to move their data, like the trial balances data, we can export the data using the financial statements. But if any organization wants to move everything rather than these balances, we can export the data using some reports or searches in NetSuite. The next step is data cleansing or transformation. So before importing data into NetSuite, it's crucial to clean and transform the data to ensure accuracy and compatibility with NetSuite's data format and structure. This step may involve removing duplicates, standardizing data formats, and reformatting data to match NetSuite's requirements. And the next step is a preparation of a scorecard. A scorecard for a migration process typically provides an overview of the process along with relevant data. And we have to prepare some import templates, and then we finally import the data into NetSuite via CSV files. And finally, we validate the data to perform reconciliations. We'll update the scorecard, and we submit them to the clients. So that's how we follow the process. And now let's quickly discuss about some data migration challenges and limitations. NetSuite inherently lacks the functionality to import transfers, like bank transfers. To overcome this limitation, we have built a solution with the customization, and we presented it to clients for their approval before we present it to clients before any migration. And if we talk about QuickBooks to NetSuite data migrations, QuickBooks does not have a report that provides exact details of bills and applied payments, and there is some manual effort required for this data migration. Also, NetSuite does not have the functionality to import the bank deposits like transfers, but Varuna has developed a workaround to overcome these limitations. Also, in QuickBooks, QuickBooks basically allows organizations to create expenses for vendors and bills for employees, but NetSuite doesn't. But if such transactions are found, Twarna 79 team will notify clients and then take approvals, and then we'll do the necessary steps involved there. And a few users might name their expense reports as checks, but checks and payments are different in NetSuite. So we'll identify such type of transactions based on some limitations. We'll analyze the data and then do the needful finally. And let's talk about delta period and how do we manage the delta periods. So delta period refers to a specific time frame during which data changes are captured and migrated from the source system to the target system. It represents the interval between the initial completion of data migration and the point at which the system goes live or becomes fully operational. During the initial migration period, the entire data set is transferred from the source system to the target system. However, after the initial migration, data in the source system continues to change or get updated, and the delta period captures these changes and ensures that the target system remains up to the date with the latest data. And the delta period can vary depending on the specific requirements of the data migration process. It could be hourly, daily, weekly, or even longer depending on the volume of data changes in the source system. But at the end of each delta period, the changes that occur during the interval are identified, extracted again, cleaned up again, and then migrated to target system to maintain the data consistency. So by go live, everything will be on NetSuite. So that is the process of data migration and how we take care of our clients during this process to ensure the smooth data migration process. And that's it from me today. Tina, thank you everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much, Navina. And thank you everyone for joining us. We are going to hang around for a couple of minutes to field any questions. So now's your time to ask them. And if you want to reach out to Navina, her contact is on the screen in front of you and our phone numbers. So please do reach out to us if you have any further questions. And I hope to see you in an upcoming webinar session. Thanks, everyone.